Hello, good evening, and welcome to Monkeys with Fire. How's everybody tonight? Hope you're all well. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. So, tonight we're going to be doing a live play of a soon-to-be-released tabletop card game. We are going to be playing Katmai, the Bears of Brooks River from Osprey Games. This is a two-player card game, primarily of area control. And it's all about a group of bears who are fishing for salmon on a river in southwest Alaska. So this is going to be fun. We've not done a game like this for a while, so I'm quite excited to share it with you this evening. Of course, my thanks to Osprey Games for providing a copy of Katmai, the Bears of Brooks River, for us to take a look at this evening. As I say, the game is set for release. I believe it's in February. There is a link in the video description below. Go and click on that. Go and check it out. You can pre-order it, of course, directly from Osprey Games or your local friendly tabletop gaming store. All right, let's jump to the table and check it out. So, here we go. Let's take a look at the box. I'm just going to read a little bit of a text that is on the back just to set the scene. So, every summer, dozens of ravenous brown bears descend upon the majestic Brooks River in Alaska to gorge themselves on its summer bounty of salmon. In Katmai, you will place bears at fishing points in order to gain dominance, satisfying challenges and catch delicious fish. As spots fill up, you will need to choose your bears carefully, trigger unique abilities, and outwit your hungry opponents. Winter approaches and the wilderness is yours. It's time to feast. Katmai, the Bears of Brooks River has been designed by Peter Ridgeway with illustrations by Tom Lopez. All right. And yeah, we do have this wonderful illustration on the front there. So let's jump on in. I've got myself the player guide here, and what's really nice about this game, just flicking through, it lays out the rules super simple. Setup very easy. Iconography on the cards and on the tiles. And then essentially there are 4 stages to play. We prepare, we play cards, we place Beeples. These are bear meeples. I don't know who came up with that name, but Beeples is the name. So place our Beeples and catch salmon, and then we clean up. I like that the rules also include plenty of examples throughout. I find that very useful. So we then have phase 3, placing our Beeples, catching salmon. Again, more examples. And then phase 4, the cleanup, end of game, and scoring. I also like that they highlight all of the bear abilities. Nice and clean. And then at the back here, which is something that I really do appreciate, is that it tells us a little bit about the real world aspect, or where the game has taken its sort of inspiration. And I think that's great. One of the things that I've always really enjoyed about tabletop gaming is that you can learn so much about the world through the games you play. And so reading this, learning about the Katmai National Park and Preserve, learning about the brown bears and the salmon, this is brilliant. Really do appreciate this. And then looking at all of the bears that have been the inspiration for the card art. So this is fantastic. I really like this. And if you want to know more about the conservation, you can click on a QR code there as well. So I really like this element of bringing the real world aspect of the game to your attention. I like this. Okay, so I'm going to go through the rules here. So we're going to kind of learn as we play. And if we do get somebody in on the chat, then they can maybe play as the second player. Now, there's one aspect to the game that I'm going to find it difficult to kind of convey if we are going to play with somebody in chat, and that is the element of passing on the initiative token. Because typically, your cards would be hidden information, and of course I'll get to see what the other player has, but we'll work it through. Okay, so basically what we've done is we have set up the river. This has been done randomly by these tiles, but the important point is that the river is always flowing downstream. We have upstream going to downstream, and we have our objectives just here. There are two types of objective, the circle and the diamond. There's several cards to each, they're double-sided, so there's plenty of objectives that you can challenge yourself with in order to score points. There are two decks of cards, the brown and, the cinnamon and the sandy. Got to get these terminologies correct. The cards are exactly the same. As far as their abilities are concerned. What's going to happen is we've shuffled the cards. We're going to take 2 out in our round. So we'll have 10 cards per player. We'll play those cards. And then once that round ends, we will then put those 2 cards back on into the deck, shuffle, take another 2 cards out, and carry on play. So there's always a random fact that the card might be not in the deck. But of course, as you play the game several times, you might start to pick up on the types of cards that are available. And once you get to see what has been played, you might be able to sort of second guess and go, oh, okay, I think this particular card is still in play. And that might inform what decision you're going to make. So I'm going to take it that I've got the initiative token. And it does point out that having initiative and actually forcing initiative upon the other player is potentially a very useful tactic. And as we get to learn the game, we might see where that actually comes into play. So let's go through these rounds since we have everything set up. And I will explain about the Beeples, and I'll explain about these cubs as we come to them. I'll also explain what we're trying to do as far as our objectives. So, our objective cards, we are going to be placing down cards from our deck, and we will be placing them and then revealing our cards. And what we're trying to do is have dominance. So if we've got a bear on one side, bear on the other, whoever has the greatest value has dominance. And that player is then able to place one of their bear meeples down on one of the 4 locations on the tile. You are trying to then create the patterns from these objectives, and if you achieve these, then you of course score the points according to that particular card. These particular objectives have a bonus. So if you are able, say for example, I'm just going to show you this one here. This is a shallow stair. So basically what you're trying to do is place your bears in a diagonal fashion on the tiles. If you achieve that, then you'll score 1 salmon. If you are able to place your bear in a shallow, then you potentially gain an extra salmon. But it's got to be so that there are 2 bears diagonal, no bears on the other diagonal, and one of those bears has got to be in a shallow. And that would give you that bonus. Each of these objectives do have a special bonus. if you're able to achieve it by having them on. And as you can see on the actual river itself, there are markings for the different kinds of spaces. So what do we have? We have deep pools, shallows, waterfalls, eddies, and rocks. Everything you would expect from a fast-flowing river. So let's I've already shuffled these cards. I'm going to take 2 out here. I'll take 2 out just here. That gets us ready. We're probably going to run out of room because I need to be able to place cards here and on this side, but we'll manage as best as we can. Now, when you're placing cards down, you can have a maximum of 3 cards stacked in any position on these tiles. Okay, and of course you would be adding up your values as far as your score for the dominance. You'll see as we start to reveal cards that there is a number system, and of course whoever has the highest number is going to have the dominance, is going to win that tile. So let's just make sure we got this correct. So prepare, we've shuffled our deck of 12 cards, we've removed 2, and we draw 2. So 1, 2, that's my 2. That's the second player's 2. Done. We then play cards. So starting with the player with the initiative token, each player chooses one of their cards in their hand, places it face down against one of the river tiles on their side of the river. I'm going to just clear up a little bit of room here, just so that we do have space. Let's put these just here. I'm going to move our decks. Put those there. Put our bear cub there. And we're going to say that Cinnamon is on this side, Sandy is on this side. There we go. Okay, so we are going to look at, since we are the first player, we're going to look at our cards. Let's see what we've got. So, again, really handy that the instructions detail all of this, but it's really easy. So this is Diver. Diver has a point value of 3. Diver's dominance is 5 when placed against a tile with any unoccupied deep pool. Alright, so, because we're the starting player, we've got the entire river at our disposal here. And let's just double check. Deep pool. Again, what's really nice? Essentially, this little iconography explains, and we were looking for the deep pool symbol. And I can see it just here. We've got one there, one there. One here. These were all done randomly. Now, this is maybe something we want to take into consideration before we start putting down our cards. We're looking for this deep pool. We've got it in several locations. Now, if we were to win this location, can we achieve any of these objectives? We've got one here. This stationed is going to score us 2 points if we can place bears along one side of the river. Of course, our side, so I should be looking down this side. And it's got to be bear, miss a spot, bear, miss a spot, bear, miss a spot. And we get a bonus if we're able to put a bear on a deep pool. So here's our deep pool on our side. And effectively, if we put a bear here and a bear here, we would actually score points for this particular objective. So that's a consideration, isn't it, to try and win this tile? What else could we possibly do? We could try, again, if we're able to put a bear just double checking here. Just want to make sure I got this right. Yes, we can actually put our bears on either side. For 1 second there, I was thinking you could only put them on one side, and you can't. You can put them on either side, so it's fine. Or can you? Let me just double check. So, play card, send the player on an initiative token. Oh yes, it's on their side of the river, so yes, it's got to be on your side. Yes. Okay. But it actually placing the meeples down, or beeples, you can place those on either side, I think it is. So, starting with the river tile that's furthest upstream, yeah, players. As dominus may place one of the meeples on the tile in any unoccupied space. Yes, so that's where I'm getting. You place the cards down on your side, but you can put your bear meeple on any of the spots, so long as it's not occupied. That's the important point. So let us put Diver here, because we want to get... Oh, but saying that though, we could... but we wouldn't want to put it here, or win this one, because we don't want a bear right next to it. I think we'll put it there. That's fine. And of course, then we draw up a second card. Let's do player 2. Let's see what... We didn't necessarily have to play that first one. We could have played the second card. I'm just looking at the second players here. So, in fact, we got 2 cards, both at a value of 3. One is just a standard card, but it does have this symbol here. And this is the symbol for, I want to get this right, I think it's called a sow. I was learning about what you call a group of bears. And interestingly, I think one of the versions is a mall of bears, which is a little bit worrying. So... just want to find... Yep, there we go. Bear Cub Spotlight. So this is when you place this card down, you can potentially place your Bear Cub token, and that would break any ties. So the player with the initiative token may place their Bear Cub token first. The player cannot place a Bear Cub token on a card if any other player's bear on the opposite side of the river tile already has their Cub token played. So let's see what Head Bob does. Head Bob's dominance is 5 when placed against a tile with any unoccupied waterfall. So it's actually a similar card than what we've already played, but we're going to go for a waterfall. Where is a waterfall? We have one here. One here. We don't have one on the tile that I've already played, so that's interesting. So let's say, in fact, actually, you can see the depiction of waterfalls in the artwork. That's handy. Let's put the card just there. And then, of course, draw up a second card. So, we have played our cards. Players simultaneously flip over and reveal their played cards. Revealed cards will remain face up until the end of the round. So, we reveal. Done. And as I say, it's essentially the same kind of card. If a card has it's a special sort of flash symbol, then they have an ability that can be played straight away, but that's not the case for us here. So then each player draws up a new card, which we've already done. This phase continues until players have placed all 10 cards. So effectively, we keep on going. We've always got to keep in mind that we are trying to, if we're wanting to put down our Beeples, we've got to have dominance. So when we start playing cards opposite one another, we might want to place other cards on top to build up our dominance. We've always got to keep these objectives in mind as best as we can. So, back over to me. What do we have? I got Chunk, who's worth 4, and Weevil, who does have the Bear Cub icon. Weevil's dominance is 4 if both players have the same number of cards against this tile. Okay. So that's interesting. So if I place down Weevil here and it stayed as is, then Weevil would have 4 against the 3. So that'd actually be quite good. But let's not do that. We're trying to get this stationed, aren't we? So, ideally, I want to put a card down on here. So, and we could still achieve that, but we would have to put a Beeple in here and a Beeple in there. So let's put Chunk there. I'm going to put those cards here. And draw another one. Over to second player. What have we got? We have Grazer, who is value of 3. But Otis dominance is the same as the dominance of the card on top of him. Oh, right, so this is kind of a, well, not quite a multiplier, is it? But if we put a card of 3 on top of Otis, Otis is a 3 as well, we then have 6. So if we really want to have a space, that's a good one. So, but maybe it's still a little bit early in the game for that. What is our Sandy player trying to achieve? Are they going to go for this shallow stair? Well, they went for the waterfall. They could go across here. That'd be fine. That would achieve it, but not going to get the bonus for the shallow area, are they? Because they were at the waterfall on this one. Could do a side-by-side. But we want an unoccupied waterfall. Where's another waterfall? There's a waterfall over here, isn't there? So, let's put Grazer down here. And draw up another card. And of course, we reveal... Alright, moving on. So you can see it's actually quite a fast game. We've got Weevil, we've already seen that. We've now got a new card of Lefty. Lefty's dominance is the same as the dominance of the card on top of him. Right, so that's exactly the same as the other one. Of course, we won't know that. But this is where you can start to pick up and learn the different abilities that these bears have. And once you realise that one has been played, then you still have it. You can potentially play your card and win. So, this one spread out is alternate. I guess it's an extension of the shallow stair, isn't it? And I can't do that if I'm doing that. However, saying that, this is down this bottom section here. So it's 1, 2, 3. Oh, hang on, I've miscalculated. It's got to go 1, 2. I'm going to have to start from up here. So it starts from here. Now, how can I do... I can't do it, can I? Or maybe I can. I might be able to spread out. So I'd have to go here, 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 and then here. Ooh, that's going to be tough. Right, let's see. Maybe I should do side by side. Can I do side by side on this waterfall? I think I could do, couldn't I? So let's put Lefty there. Was it Lefty? Yes, it was Lefty. There we go. And draw a new card. Let's go over to the other player. What do we got? Snaggletooth. Snaggletooth is just a dominance of 2. And what are they going to try and achieve? See, now we've got cards facing one another. We're going to have our first sort of confrontation. And this is going to start to alter what we're thinking of doing, because if we want to win this spot, we might have to start putting additional cards on here. So I think this player is probably reasonably confident at this stage. They don't necessarily need to put anything down. So I think they're just going to put a card just there. In fact, we'll turn those there and turn over. We have a 2 here. 2 against the 3. So probably, yeah. You see, this is where the other player would have looked at this and gone, hang on a second, I don't want to put a 2 down. But maybe it's a case of putting another card on top to now beat this. So that's okay. Lefty's dominance is the same as the dominance of the card on top of him. So he definitely now needs another card going on top to beat Head Bob. So this is now where it gets a bit more interesting. So we got Nostril Bear. And we got Weevil. Don't want to put Weevil down. It's going to be Nostril Bear. And draw up a new card. What do we have? So Otis dominance is the same as the dominance of the card on top of him. So that's not going to help this one here. 7-4-7 is a massive 4. Does our second player really want to have this space? Or do they play it against Chunk? Again, maybe if there is no way of breaking a tie, then no Beeples go down. So maybe, yeah, maybe they want to do that deliberately to stop me from being able to score on this one. Okay, so we reveal. We got 4 against 4. And now we do have a 4 against a 3. Okay. Let's see what we have. We got Popeye, which is a 3. And we got Weevil. Weevil's dominance is 4 if both players have the same number of cards against this tile. Now, that could be interesting, couldn't it? Because we could put Weevil down on this 4. So that gives us 5. We automatically beat. And if the other player was to put a card down, then they would instantly get boosted up to 4 because we would have then 2 cards each. But of course the other player wouldn't know what this card is. That's actually, that could be quite cunning and a bit funny. So let's do that. So we've got a little bit of a fight happening here. What do we have? We have Otis, but we have Flo now. Flo's got a value of 2. You may move any one of your played cards onto Flo. Oh, that's actually now funny the other way. Again, because it's just me. I'm kind of seeing it from both sides. I'm going to play that on here. But would they do it? They wouldn't know what this card is. So maybe they're just going to rise to the challenge of, okay, we put one down, you've now put one down. There's a little bit of a fight going on here. Ooh. Let's put it down. Let's see how that plays out. That could be funny. Oops. Okay, so we reveal. Now, what's interesting, And in fact, actually, this does work in the favour of the second player. This is the first card that has that little icon. Let's just show you. You got the little sort of lightning bolt at the top here. So you may move any one of your played cards onto flow. So what's happening now is this player has 6 points against the 5 points here, but in fact, because they've got 2 cards and 2 cards, Weevil's dominance is 4 if both players have the same number of cards against this tile. So at the moment, it's actually 6 against 8. Now, this player would have to take opportunity right now. Do they want to move one of their cards across? And in fact, let's just double check. Do you get the option? If a card has an ability marked with that ability resolved immediately, yes, so you must do it. So I think they would move. Yeah, let's move Snaggletooth across. So now they have a value of 8, whereas this has now gone down to 5. Now, does it mean we potentially could put another card on here? So when we're going to place our Beeples, so we're starting with the river tile furthest up. So the player whose card has the highest dominance against the river tile may place one of their Beeples. So players add up the dominance value of all their cards placed against that river tile, factoring in any abilities affecting dominance values. So in effect, if we put another card down here, we are equalizing the 3 cards, and this value would kick in again. That's actually, we probably have to do that, wouldn't we? If we really want this space. And all we need is a low value card. So we've got Milkshake. You may move any one of your played cards onto Milkshake. And you may, so we don't have to move anything. So I could put Milkshake on there. I just want to, yeah, put Milkshake there. That gives us the 3. So in fact, we've got 8. We've got a value of 10 against their 8. Because, of course, they've already got the 3 card limit. Can't place any more down on there. Draw a card. Look at these 2. What do we have? Otis. Poor Otis hasn't got any. He's been in our hand for a while and has not been played. And then Backpack, value of 3. What's Otis? Otis' dominance is the same as the dominance of the card on top. I feel like we need to place Otis down. In fact, actually, I put that Milkshake down, didn't I? I should have kept them like so. Until we reveal. Oh yeah, Milkshake goes in there. And Otis comes here. We'll have to place another card on top. What have we got here? Popeye and Marge. Your opponent's least dominant bear against this tile has a dominance of 0. Oh wow, that's interesting. So we could, we'll place the card there. Draw up one. Let's see what we hear. We've got Brett and Backpack. I'm actually just going to start filling in some of these gaps to see if we can make things work. So how about Backpack is going to go there. Take a card, reveal both. That actually, that's quite funny. Since there's only one card here, that 3 becomes a 0. And Marge wins with 1. Which I like. That's quite funny. Of course, it's now down to the other player to basically put another card on there to cancel out Marge's ability. Even if you just put a 1 on there. But let's see what we've got. Oh, wow. We got Popeye and we got Genghis. I think Genghis is going to go in there. We've got our final card. So we have just final 2. And we have Brett and Amelia. So you may force your opponent to move... you may force your opponent to move their topmost card against this tile to a tile of your choice. Ooh. Ooh, that's an interesting one. We can't do here. So Amelia... Ooh. How about if Amelia goes there? We got our last card. So we reveal Genghis his hair. And Amelia goes there. And this is an action. You may force your opponent to move their topmost card against this tile to a tile of your choice. Now this actually would only work... I guess we could move... We could move it to there, so hence there's no one on here. This is how the second player would win this tile. We could do that. Granted, of course, they don't want to place anything here now, do they? There's only 2 cards left in this round. So what do we have? Popeye and Scaredy Bear. Okay. So we got to look and see. Where could this go? We don't want to... Well, effectively, maybe we take up this one here. Put Popeye here. Let's take a look here. We got Brett and Divot. Divot's dominance is 4 if both players have the same number of cards. Oh, that's interesting. So Divot could go on this one. And we reveal. So Popeye's there. Divot goes just there. Final cards. This would be an interesting point of playing the initiative token. In fact, actually, we can do this. So I can give this initiative token to the second player. And that means that the second player now must play their card first. And of course, that gives me a little bit of an opportunity to work out, okay, well, where do I want to place my final card? Now, the thing with the initiative token is that, let's just get this right. So, play with initiative token is the starting player. Before choosing their card, the starting player can choose to give the initiative token to the other player, forcing the other player to become the starting player. Well, I only have 1 card left, so it's absolutely fine. When a player is given an initiative token, they cannot give it to the other player until their next turn. So if we'd done this midway through, I could have given that token to the second player. They would have been forced to have to play their card, and then I would have played my card. It would have then be the start of their turn, and then they could have given the initiative token back over to me, forcing me to put my card down, and then they would put their card down. So this token can go back and two, fighting and pushing for who has to put the cards first. And of course, that will change what cards you put when and what information you might know at that moment. So, our second player has got to put their card down, and they've got Brett with a value of 2. Where's Brett going to go? So I feel like Brett has got to go on Otis. Otis' dominance is the same as the dominance of the card on top of him. Kind of forgot about that. So Brett's got to go there. Scaredy Bear is a value of 2. No point going here, is going to lose. This is the advantage of now being the second player. You can start to work out where you're going to go. Can't put any cards here. There are 2 cards here. We've got 3 here. We don't know what's going to happen here. We have left his dominance the same as the dominance on the card on top of him. So this is 4 against 4. But here we go. Divot's dominance is 4 if both players have the same number of cards. So that potentially is 7. We're going to lose here no matter what, but we're going to win here. So in fact, this is where we would have to play our card. Makes the most sense. Alright, and so we reveal. And I've kind of already gone through the sort of thought process on this. So that is the end of the Phase 2 playing cards. So now we get to place the Beeples. Every time I see Beeples, I want to think that these are going to be bees, but they're not, are they? So starting with the player tile that has the furthest upstream. So this is upstream, that's me. Players add up the dominance value of all their cards played against that river tile, factoring in any abilities. The player whose cards have the highest total dominance may place one of their Beeples on that tile in any unoccupied space, so long as they have Beeples remaining. Check to see if the Beeple meets any of the objectives at the head of the river. So we now get to place one of our tokens here because we win this tile. We want to take a look and see if placing that one Beeple is going to aid any of these, because we've got the 4 locations. We do have the shallow stair. So we could place our Beeple there. We're not going to score this turn, but potentially we win this one again, get another Beeple over there. We're going to score a point. And in fact, we'll score 2 points because we are in the actual shallow water, which gives us an additional salmon. So that is that. We take that away. We move on to this tile, and we just work our way downstream. Again, don't have to worry about this. We have won this tile outright, but now we want to consider. So if we're going to go here, we're not going to be able to do this. Can we do stationed? I'm going to go across here. We can't have a bear in here. There's no advantage at the moment, but we could just put 2 bears in here side by side. Might that work? And leave this one for the shallow stair. One thing is these are typically faced in this direction, so that's why. And actually, I've realised I'm probably doing this wrong, aren't I? Can I do it? I think I can do that. I'm going to get away with it. Makes sense given the how things are. So, I'll just put down. Where shall I put? Is there a one over? Oh, there is one over there. So in fact, if I put one here, I potentially could get one over here as well, couldn't I? Oh, I could have done it. Oh. If I'd won here, I would have had this. Okay. C'est la vie. So we're over to the sandy player. Nobody to contest. So they want to consider. Now, potentially, they could try and do, if they win this one, they could put 2 in here and actually score a point. I feel like scoring points might be good. So let them put 1 in here and take those away. Alright, so this is now our first battle. What do we have? So, Divot's dominance is 4 if both players have the same number of cards. Well, we don't. So this actually, Head Bob's dominance is 5 when placed against a tile with any unoccupied waterfall. So that's a 5. Plus 1 is 6. Alright. We've got 4 here. Lefty's dominance is the same as the dominance of the card on top of him. So that was 2. That's 6. So in fact, it is a tie. And, oh gosh, because the sandy player is the first player, they can actually place their bear cub on Divot and break that tie. So I've lost and they have won, but now that that has been placed, we cannot place it again. So they can put down, and this means that they actually score a salmon. And in fact, I probably need to turn that way around, don't we? Make it easy for myself. So just put down a marker there, say that they've scored a point. Alright, over here we have 3, but it's a 5 when it's against a tile with an unoccupied deep pool. With our deep pool, there's no bear on it, so that's a 5. What do we have on this side? We have a 2, and we have Otis' dominance is the same as the dominance of the card on top, so it's another 2, so that's 4. So 5 against 4, so we win. And we're going to put down, and we wanted to put it on because we wanted to do this one along here, didn't we? So we'll put that there. Okay, moving on. So we now have, sandy player has a total of 8. Cinnamon player, Weevil's dominance is 4 if both players have the same number of cards. Well, it's 3 each, so that's 8 there, plus an additional 2, so it's 10 against 8. So we win. Those go on to Sandy, these go onto the Cinnamon, and I'm going to place it just there. Ah, this is interesting. We get to the final card, it's uncontested. Now, Sandy player could of course look at this and go, oh, I think I can see what you're doing. And you want to go here, don't you? So they could deliberately just be a pain and just place a bear there. Because that's the kind of players I end up playing against. So that would be actually quite amusing. So that's basically a round. So each time you place a Beeple, check the objective card upstream to see if the placement means you satisfy any of the objective card requirements. Because this was the first round, we haven't done enough to basically build up. If a player satisfies the requirements shown on the objective, they place a salmon token in their colour on the objective card. It's only the sandy player who actually scored anything because of just this simple side-by-side. Meeple will be used to satisfy more than one objective, but can never score for the same objective more than once. Alright. We then go across to the cleanup. After scoring the last meeple in the round, take back all your bear cards and the bear cub token. So this would go back here, and this would go back here. Okay. Leave all your beeples in play, because we're going to build upon this in subsequent rounds. Return the 2 set aside bear cards to your deck, which we have done. So now we would start, when we start a new round, we would shuffle up those 12 cards. Again, take out 2 cards, and we are going to then start playing and repeat everything we have just done. Of course, now we're minus 2 different cards potentially, and have the inclusion of 2 different bears into our deck. Ultimately, the end of game is triggered. Just going to find it here. I did have it. Where is it? Here we go. End of game. At the end of clean. So at the end of cleanup, check if the game has finished. At the end of the round, if you have at least 4 more beeples than your opponent, you win immediately. Well, in fact, we don't. There's only a difference of 1. At the end of a round, if you have 0, 1, or 2 meeples left in your supply, after the catch the salmon phase, the game ends immediately and you move on to scoring. And ultimately, scoring is adding up how many salmon you may have collected during the course of the rounds. Whoever has the most salmon is the winner. And that is the bare necessities of how to play the game. It's not that difficult, really. It is it's quite easy to learn, as I'm sure you'll agree. But there is a really good back and two element to it. And when you're playing with other people, and not just against yourself, I think that really does shine. I like Katmai. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's also a perfect game to take with you on holiday or on travel, because the box itself, it's actually pretty small. This fits quite handily into a sort of rucksack. It doesn't take up a huge amount of table space, so it's easy to set up. And yeah, I think that the back and two mechanic of not quite knowing what your opponent might be playing, trying to sort of second guess which bear they might be using, trying to work out what objectives they are going for, and whether you want to try and achieve the same or deliberately put your beeples in place to prevent them from scoring, but knowing full well that they may try and do the same for you. Yeah, I like it a lot. Obviously, you've kind of got to like that, slightly take that sort of mechanic. I don't mind it at all. I think it's all good fun. It gives opportunity to people to get their own back in the next game. So yeah, I like it. This is a great little game. And again, as I said at the beginning of the show, I really enjoy the real world aspect that has been highlighted through this. I knew nothing about bears in Alaska. I feel like I know a little bit more now, so that is good. So there you go. That was Katmai, the Bears of Brooks River from Osprey Games. Again, our thanks to Osprey Games for providing a copy of the game for us to have a quick look at this evening. We will be doing a show again next week, keep an eye open on our socials for what we will be taking a look at the tail end of this week. But I hope you have a good week, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. But until next time, bye for now.